Servius Tullius ascended to the throne at a time when the city was at the cusp of profound change. His rise to power from the lowest level of society was uncommon for the times in which he lived. His reign was filled with a remarkable tapestry of social reforms, military prowess, and political acumen. Many historians refer to him as the last good Roman king. Many throughout history refer to him as the Chosen One. This is Rome Revisited. Join us as we explore the ancient Roman Empire, from Romulus to Constantine XI. Servius Tullius was the legendary sixth king of Rome and the second of its Etruscan dynasty. He reigned from 578 to 535 BC. According to ancient sources, he was a slave in the household of Tarquinius Priscus, the fifth king of Rome, and his wife Tanaquil. Tullius was brought to the palace as a child with his mother, Ocresia. As legend tells it, Tanaquil discovered his potential for greatness by means of witnessing various omens surrounding Servius and therefore preferred him to even her own sons. He rose to power with the help of Tanaquil, who recognized his divine origin and prophetic abilities. He married the daughter of Tarquinius, thus providing a vital link between the families, and became his successor after his assassination. His ascension to the throne was covered in tragedy and misdirection. When King Tarquinius Priscus was mortally wounded in an assassination attempt by the sons of his predecessor, King Ancus Marcius, Tarquinius's wife, Tanaquil concealed his death from the public and placed Servius as regent. After enough time had passed and Servius had proven himself as a capable ruler, Tarquinius's death was finally announced and Servius Tullius was easily elected as the new king. After their failed attempt to regain power and being exposed as the killers of the late king, the sons of Ancus Marcius went into exile and were never heard from in Rome again. Servius Tullius proved his mettle on the battlefield, expanding the territorial boundaries of Rome through a series of strategic military campaigns. He enlarged the territory of Rome by conquering several Latin towns, such as Corniculum, Crustumerium, Nomentum, and Medullia. His victories over neighboring city-states solidified Rome's dominance in central Italy, earning him the respect of both the common people and the aristocracy. Servius Tullius' most enduring legacy may lay in his social reforms. Recognizing the need for a more equitable distribution of power and resources, he introduced the Servian constitution, a groundbreaking set of laws that redefined the social structure of Rome. Central to these reforms was the implementation of a new census, a systematic enumeration of citizens that formed the basis for taxation and military service. This innovation ensured that the burdens of governance and defense were shared proportionally among the citizens. He divided the citizens into 5 classes based on their wealth and military service and created the centuriate assembly, which gave more representation to the common people. Servius Tullius also invested in the development of Rome's infrastructure. He expanded the Pomerium, the sacred boundary of the city, and built a wall around it known as the Servian Wall. The Servian Wall would encircle Rome, fortifying the city against external threats. His efforts transformed Rome into a fortified and well-organized metropolis. Servius' reforms challenged the entrenched aristocracy, creating political tension. These lead to questions of his lineage and legitimacy to rule. The main aristocrat to question his rule was Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, the king's son-in-law and son of the late king Tarquinius Priscus. Lucius claimed Servius illegitimate for the reasons of being a slave born of a slave, for failing to be elected by the Senate and the people during an interregnum, as had been the tradition for the election of kings of Rome, for being gifted the throne by a woman, for favoring the lower classes of Rome over the wealthy, for taking the land of the upper classes for distribution to the poor, and for instituting his census, which exposed the wealthy upper classes to popular envy. The tragic turn of events came when his daughter Tullia conspired with Lucius to overthrow her father. In a shocking act, he was murdered in his palace by Tarquin's henchmen. Then his body was dragged into the street where Tullia drove her chariot over her father's lifeless body, symbolizing a brutal end to his era of reforms. He was buried in a tomb on the Esquiline Hill where a column of smoke was said to rise from his grave. Lucius would then immediately succeed Servius to become Rome's seventh and final king. Servius Tullius' legacy endured beyond his tragic demise. The Servian constitution became a foundational document for Roman governance, influencing subsequent political structures. His contributions to the Roman military, social organization, and urban planning laid the groundwork for the republic that would follow. By entrusting the military defense of the state to all citizens, the Servian reforms created interdependency among the varying social classes. In its organization of voting tribes, it inextricably allied political and military life and opened up a political space for republican participation. In the eyes of Livy, the military service rendered by plebeians was thus a form of public service on par with patrician duty in the Senate. Servius Tullius was the last king of Rome to be elected by the Senate and later the people. He was a popular and benevolent ruler, who improved the lot and fortune of the lower classes of Rome. He was also a great warrior, a visionary leader, and a skilled builder. Servius Tullius emerged from humble beginnings to reach the top of a growing empire. His life, marked by military triumphs, social reforms, and a tragic end, remains a compelling legend in the rich story of Roman history, thus showcasing the complexities of power, progress, jealousy, greed, and ambition in the ancient world. His legacy lives on. So could your knowledge about such fascinating pieces of history? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more captivating content about ancient Rome. Dive into the past and keep the spirit of antiquity alive. This is Rome Revisited.